Welcome back from that. I hope you enjoyed the newspaper review segment. Our analyst is always so energetic. I mean, he's young, so yeah. He's always so energetic.
Even for 2 hours.
Oh yeah, he would keep at it. But we're going to discuss something very important right now: relationships. And Nigerians, I don't know if we prioritize what relationships, true relationships, should be. We're moving from that times when your father would say, you know what, you look like my friend's child would fit you, so do that, like just get married and all of that. But it comes with its problems as well.
It comes with its problems, and sometimes they will say when they were giving birth, they will say, I put something in the water for you.
Yes, you are going to take, yes, and that is it. And the child grows up and he already knows this is my husband or wife. Well, in the studio, to give us context, is someone who is actually redirecting it all, because relationships are the basis for an entire nation. If we get it wrong with relationships, we bring children in unhealthy environments, we bring children who are learning toxic traits, narcissistic traits, and all that. I am excited to have very profoundly someone that is indeed trying to ensure that we get it right. We do get it right. He's a pastor, he's an author, and so much more. Pastor Adebayo Somefun, thank you so much for
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Now you have written books, but most enlightening, most interesting are these 3 that are yet to be launched. Why did you look around the society and think, nah, we must start talking about relationships?
First and foremost, let me first thank God for this opportunity and the privilege. The late Dr. Miles Monroe said something. He said, in every seed there is a tree.
Of course.
But the tragedy of life is when a tree dies in a seed, when a man dies in a boy, when a woman dies in a girl, when a dream dies in the mind, when what could have been becomes what should have been. I found out that this dream did not die in the mind, and we have the books today. Relationship is something that is very, 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 very important. If we look at the first book on courtship and relationship, Red Flags, it talks about, number 1, get yourself some sense.
Get yourself some
sense, because
that's really blunt.
Because unfortunately, common sense is not common. Yeah. And the 10th commandment of courtship is, thou shalt choose wisely. The 9th is, thou shalt not ignore warning signals. Unfortunately, warning signals are discarded off. If you look at the cover of the book on courtship and relationship, Red Flags, it shows rules. At times, rosy gifts could be Greek gifts. Rosy gifts could be red flags, because you have to look at the heart of the person that is giving you the gift. You have to be able to discern. For instance, in getting yourself some sense, take it slow. Get to know the person. The person you are professing you are in love with, the person you are professing that, oh, this, I'm going to bear his name, or later in life. If you don't know that person, it is a red flag. The person might have a controlling behavior, manipulative behavior. He might have anger problems, aggression, moodiness. There's also emotional aspects of it. Exactly. There's so many aspects we need to look at before we go to the signs of abusive relationship. And in that second one, I talked about, the second point was educate yourself. Because we notice that we believe that a lot of the society has made us to believe that marriage, for better or for worse, until death do us part. But it doesn't say that abuse should be accepted or tolerated. No, abuse is never acceptable. Any type of abuse, whether it's emotional abuse, psychological abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse, digital abuse, sexual abuse, spiritual abuse. There are so many types of abuses, which unfortunately we close our eyes. And at times I feel, because some don't know they are in abusive relationships.
Yes, and that's what I just want to know, first of all.
Yeah.
You meet someone.
Sorry.
You connect with someone, and then you now decide that, okay, I love this person. At what point do you know that, you know what, this person fits in? Because we've also heard that it's not about emotions. Don't put it on, especially in love relationships. It's not just about emotions that you put into the love. It has to be one who fits your personality. It has to be one, there's so much to do. But when you meet someone and you feel the connection, I want you to give us an idea as to when it gets wrong and the kind of stance we put that makes it wrong. What kind of connection should we look at that is healthy?
Now, the type of connection we should look at that is healthy, first and foremost, as a pastor, there must be the fear of God, which is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is on understanding. Then you have to look at temperaments. How are your temperaments? You have to look at, does this man, or woman, can I trust? Because trust is the foundation of any relationship. Trust. If there's no trust, there is no relationship.
Exactly.
Then, aside trust, you have to look at it that, are we financially compatible? Because there's the aspect of financial abuse. There's the financial abuse. There are aspects you have to look at, and you look at it that, wow, this relationship, is this guy or this lady overly jealous or possessive? There's also moodiness. There's also stinginess. In part of financial patterns, you look at if the person is stingy or not stingy. If the person, if the person has this volcanic, can explode, it means that in the relationship, especially in signs of abusive relationship, physical abuse, verbal abuse is when you are belittled. You are with words.
Right.
He disrespects you. There's the social abuse where you are disrespected. Then controlling behavior. If the person is controlling and manipulating you, it is a red flag.
Sir, based on what you said here, and you as a pastor,
Yes.
somewhere in the scripture they said, woman, obey and respect your husband.
Beautiful.
And from this premise, a lot of people now think that whatsoever that happens in the marriage, keep on. And from what you are telling us, you are shifting the paradigm. And I remember my grandmother used to say those days. He said, well, once you get into the marriage, love the man, you can change him. So are you not trying to tell us time?
Okay,
I'm happy a man is asking.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's a very good question. You are talking about the aspect of submissiveness.
Yes.
Submissiveness does not mean the woman should be slavish.
Okay.
It doesn't mean the woman should be a doormat. In in this relationship, you are not supposed to dominate yourselves. You're supposed to complement yourself. Nobody's inferior, nobody's superior.
Right.
Okay? So, when we're talking about submissiveness, the woman submits to your vision. She's a helpmeet. She's not your slave. God has brought her to complement you.
A partner in the business.
A partner in the business. So she's not supposed to be, when we're talking about submissiveness, is an act of the will. And when you love, when the man loves, let me come there. Husbands, love your wives. As Christ loved the church. And if he loves the woman, naturally, she will submit to him. It's not by force. It's not by saying, oh, Sarah called Abraham her husband Lord, so my wife called me Lord. No, sir.
Because there's this aspect of saying the man is the head of the house, and because of that,
okay,
whatever he says goes.
No,
and if you dare challenge the man, that means you are God.
And
there has to be a paradigm shift.
Exactly, it is the reason why sometimes even religious leaders such as yourself, when they approach you to say, my husband is abusing me, I am being harassed, I'm being molested, in many ways, economically, financially, emotionally, and sometimes even physically. They quote again, the man is the head of the home, and you are just but the neck.
I like what you were saying, but you see, marriage, it's for better or for worse until death do part. Yes. But it is not until your mate kills you. Am I making sense? It is not for better or for death. God is love. And God, who instituted the institution of marriage, ordained it for both parties to love themselves. Not for one party to be abusing the other repeatedly, continuously, wickedly. And you're saying stay in the relationship? No. You see, we fail to discern problems until they escalate into emergencies. It is not when the house has been razed down that we call the fire brigade.
Right.
I am really happy that you are coming from this angle, because the traditional aspect of it, even in the Christendom and some other religion, is that I am having problem with my marriage, and you run to the pastor. Sometimes when you run to the pastor becomes another problem, another obstacle to that very marriage.
Because it's not because some of the responses they give makes the next person feel even worse. Does not really address the issue, but pats it up and says, you know what, this is what you're supposed to face, and this is you who is being stubborn. You're a woman, you should know your place in the marriage. So I understand what you mean.
And at times the pastor eventually end up becoming the next husband to the woman.
Well,
in terms of respect and submission, is that what you mean?
No. I have a problem in my marriage. I'm a woman. I rush to the pastor because that's what they asked me to do.
Right.
And the pastor could not give me advice to sustain my marriage, to patch wherever that it's leaking. But eventually, the pastor would convince me to leave my husband and become his wife.
I don't know about
I don't know about that also. But you are making sense in the sense that religion, not everything traditional. I mean, when not everything, when we look at it, you're looking at the religious aspect that says, okay, despite the abuse, you must stay in that relationship. Times have changed. There is a paradigm shift. We have noticed a lot of homes are suffering this abuse. We have noticed that even ministers of the gospel have died.
Yes.
And I think it would be wrong at this stage to tell anybody going through abuse to stay in the abuse.
Right.
The truth is that, like I was talking about, God that instituted the institution of marriage, he did not institute it to be abused. If the purpose of the thing is not known, abuse is inevitable.
Right.
If we don't know the purpose of marriage, we will abuse it. There's no way anybody will come to me and say, oh, Pastor, this is what is happening in my home. I'm being abused, I'm beaten left, right, and center. I see the marks. I see that she's almost being killed. And then I tell her, go stay in that place. No. Definitely. Give yourself a break. Let the man go for therapy.
Okay.
If he changes, both of them.
Right.
Because, you see, abuse both parties. Because the abuser at times might be having mental issues. And the cycle continues if he doesn't go for therapy, counseling, or for healing.
Exactly.
If you tell the person to stay in that relationship, the next thing is that death.
But I would like to ask, do we train religious leaders in this respect? Because like we have established, sometimes where we seek for help, we don't get help. And very often religious leaders do not want to come down from that high horse and say, you know what, you need therapy from professionals. So should we get our religious leaders to be therapists once and for all, so that when they are faced and presented with cases like this, they will know exactly what kind of help to offer?
I believe the place of your pain is the place of your passion. Now, I've worked with youths over the years. I was state director, NYC camps, Kano, Kaduna, Edo. I have a lot of youths in the church. So from experience, it's not to do with head knowledge now, it's to do with experiential knowledge.
Knowledge, right.
Now, some might not have that experience. You cannot blame them.
Right.
It's a religious whatever, because you don't give what you don't have. Now, if you have gone through experience and you have a lot of youths under you and you see what they're going through and you're seeing going through this pain, and you know that abuse there is not accepted in any form of abuse, and this person is coming to meet you, Daddy, Pastor, my husband is beating me, he's harassing me, look at this side, and the signs of actual battery is there.
So in this scenario, what would be your advice to such?
My advice would be such a person that separate, don't divorce yet.
Okay.
Separation.
Okay.
When you separate, now you can now look at it that, can we work this together? Because you see, the abuser has to come to the terms of that. Listen, I'm being abused. You're aware that I'm being abused, and you know that this is a pattern. It's reoccurring. It's not just a flash in the pan. And if you look at the cycle of abuse, there's the tension building phase, where you're working on eggshells, snapping and things like that. Then there's actually the incidence phase, that the abuse occurs, verbal, physical, especially in domestic violence, and the pastor pounds you and beats you up, and then the abuser now goes into the reconciliation stage. We call it honeymoon stage, where you see a lot of love bombing.
Exactly.
He starts to give the lady gifts. I'm sorry, I won't do this again, forgive me. So as a believer, religion comes in there again. You begin to faith it. You begin to hope against hope that God will change this person, that this person will change. That is the aspect that religion. Now, if the abuse continues, because there now becomes a calm stage, is it going to continue? Is it not going to continue? That's the calm stage. If the abuse now starts again, tension building, incident again, and it's occurring, please wake up and smell the coffee.
But that's another part of it. that waking up has become such an issue. Some women maybe have also witnessed their fathers abusing their mothers. They have come to think that is life as life should be. So that wake up never happens. I've had cases where I, from an external point, says you need to leave or you will die. You really need to leave, or one day it will be an accident. He might not want to kill you, but in that course of it, you hit your head and that's it. You need to leave. And she tells you, I can't leave because of the children, but that's God would arrest him at some point. We hear all sorts of excuses. So when you meet such people who are, there's this word I learned recently, there's this limerence, where you are so unhealthily attached to this individual, even though they are abusing you. This is not even Stockholm syndrome now. I don't even know how to describe it. But they just cannot leave. They can't wake up to the fact that this is not healthy, a healthy lifestyle or relationship.
That's why I was a bit blunt with the first point. I said, get yourself some sense.
Get yourself some sense.
Yeah, get yourself some sense. But we know that common sense is not common. Because the truth is that, and then, like I said, the tenth is, thou shalt choose wisely.
Thou shalt choose wisely.
Thou shalt not ignore warning signals. Okay. How can you see fire and you put your head in fire? Now, some will look at it that because of social stigma, what would they say? Marriage is only for the living, please. Let that be.
It's for the living.
It's for the living, it's not for the dead. And when you are making the marital vows, it says to love and to cherish until death do us part, not to hate and to batter until one partner kills the other. Get yourself some sense.
Okay, so let's go to the books now, because we are so excited we have forgotten the books that brought us into this conversation.
Everything we're saying is from the books. It's from the books also.
And I'm sure a lot of people are wondering where it's all coming from. So Pastor Somefun has three books all around relationships. So let me read out the topic. Okay, it's on the screen right now. Courtship and Relationship Red Flags. That's the first book. Signs of Abusive Relationships, Millennials, Gen Z, and Dating. These are topics I would rush to get this book. But first of all, what are the red flags that this one should look out for? Because like you said, there's love bombing that happens, especially during the beginning. You don't even get to know. But is it possible from that early dating, you're just getting to know each other, to spot these red flags?
Let me take some of the red flags. Number one, controlling behavior. This is under behavioral red flags.
The red flags. Okay.
Behavioral. Does the person have a controlling behavior? Does the person have a manipulative behavior? Dominating? Is the person unnecessarily moody, excessively jealous, and over-possessive? That's the lack of trust. And if the person is always, let me see, who called you? What's your name? And if you look at digital abuse, the person monitors your social media and say, this person, don't talk to this person again, get this person off. That's the digital abuse.
Wow.
There are so many forms of abuses. And if you look at it, the moodiness, jealousy, possessiveness, addiction. Because you can never have any healthy relationship with an addict. Okay. Not just substance addict. Not substance addiction. We're talking about even your work could be an addiction. Pornography could be an addiction. Social media, your phone could be an addiction. It is not good that man should be alone. And then God gave him a help me. And everybody,
there must be quality time.
There's no time, because the digital abuse, that's the age of the millennials and Gen Zs now. That's why you see majority of them are so self-centered.
Yeah.
Because they are so fixated.
If I cannot talk to you, I can talk to my friends on WhatsApp.
That's it. Their dating world, I'm talking about millennials now, has drastically changed from the dating worlds of the puritanic era, of our mother's era, of even our own era. Now they meet themselves online.
Everything is done online.
Everything is done
and you at home, you are nothing. You cannot be spoken to.
So, so there's that evolution, the digital evolution. And they are so opinionated. I mean, there's that fight for equality, egalitarianism, and it's like this is the way, because they have watched their parents, they have watched, no, we don't want this.
They don't want to be like that.
We want this. And it's so when you look at those red flags, there are so many other, like if we keep talking about it, there are so many others. Somebody is cheating on you, and you're saying, but I still love him. Somebody is beating you, battering you, and you are still saying, but I still love him.
Wow, Pastor.
Pastor, it seems like you are a lone ranger in this talk. So, what are your colleagues in the churches or in the religious?
They might find you religious.
So, what are they doing? Because I think that if these are discussed in the churches, in our religious houses, I think it will make some sense. Because there is no way you come alone and begin to blow this trumpet, which will also help us. And when you get back, the people are like that. They are not aware of it.
Well, like I said, this is Pastor Adebayo Somefun. And this is part of the calling that God has given me, especially to teach and counsel the youth. And I'll do it to the best of my ability.
Right.
And I pray that as many that come in contact with the book, it will be a blessing to them. And that's why we try to make that book something you can read within 5 hours. Because if a book is too voluminous, it scares people away. Number one, we're going to make it to be affordable, so that as many people can get in contact with it, and we pray that it will touch their lives as is to obey God.
Exactly.
If at the end of the day people have been blessed and we get sponsors to help us print the books and give people free of charge,
Of course.
I'll be so happy.
Okay, Pastor, let's get to this launch. We have really run out of time discussing this. Let's get to this launch. It's going to happen on Saturday, the 24th of November. That's 2 p.m. at the Pentecost Glorious Assembly, 3rd floor, BES Plaza.
Best Plaza.
Okay, Best Plaza. Utakwa Abuja. The flyer is right there. But can you share a phone number for those who may want to be part of this and have a first-hand conversation with you, buy the book and all of that?
Okay. Can I say here?
Yes, by all means.
080
Okay.
3315 4695. 080 3315 4695.
I will be there. We would be
We
there.
will be there.
We will be there. ASO TV would also be covering that event
you
as
very
well.
much.
So we must applaud you for the work that you're doing. But one more time to get the number for those who may not. Let me read it out so that my people know me. I'll need correction. Is it 080-3315-4695?
Yes.
Okay, so the numbers to call if you want to participate, be part of this book launch, contribute if possible, and have a one-on-one with Pastor Somefun. The number to call is 080-3315-4695. Again, I will take it. 080-3315-4695. That's the number to call to be part of this, to attend this book launch. Get yourself copies as well, just so that you can understand what red flags are and the kind of relationships that are indeed healthy. Thank you so much again for being part of the show.
Thank you very much for having me. God bless you.
Thank you. Okay, it's time for agriculture for today and tomorrow with Daniel Black. He would be telling us what he's got for us today. Thank you. We'll be back after that.